welcome to our Friday night edition right here on the Paranormal Voice. My name is Dale Quigley, one half of the tag team called the Paranormal Voice. My name is, sorry, I am all tongue tied today. It is Friday night, it is ready to party, and what an exciting weekend this is going to be. By the way, just a happy Father's Day to all those fathers that are out there. I hope everybody has an amazing weekend with their fathers. But today, as you can see, I'm riding a little bit solo. Michael John is on another crazy adventure. So, Michael John, wherever you are, I hope you did not get abducted by any aliens or Bigfoots for that matter. Could be one or maybe his cats are holding him hostage and stopping him from doing the show today. Conspiracy theories all over the place, but I want to welcome everybody to the Paranormal Voice. We have one hell of a show for you today. But before I bring out our amazing guests, I'm just going to talk about our sponsor of the month right now is Ghost Hunts at the Western Blocks right there in Lockport, New York with our good friends Frank Kupka and Heather. They do ghost hunts there. They do all kinds of amazing things, and also they've been featured on quite a few of the paranormal shows out there. You can see them on season 2 and season 3 and season 4 of Deathwalkers, with of course the amazing Nick Groff and his lovely wife Tessa. You can catch that on all your streaming platforms. And they've also just been recently featured on the latest season of Expedition X with Josh Gates and his team. So, like I said, check them out. The Western Block is an absolutely amazing place, and we're so happy to have them as our sponsor this month. Anybody out there interested in finding out what it to be a sponsor for our show, just email us at theparanormalvoice@gmail.com, and we will send you all the juicy details and tell you how you get in on a sponsorship and help get your name out there. I mean, it is an absolutely amazing opportunity for us to be able to have people out there like the Western Bloc to support the show and all that good stuff. And on the other side of the screen right now, you see a QR code. That right there, folks, for as long as we need to, we are going to be helping Shaylee Class. That is, of course, the daughter of Dan Class, who is, as everybody knows, the owner of the Hinsdale House and one of the co-stars of Ghost Finders. As we just found out a little while ago, Shaylee was diagnosed with bone cancer. So there is a GoFundMe page that has been started up to help the family raise some money to offset the cost of all of her treatments. So that is going to be on the screen the whole time. So please help the family out. Anything you guys can do, a dollar goes a long way. If we had 1,000 people donate $1, that's $1,000 that goes towards this little girl and helping her get her treatments to get her back and to be the healthy, beautiful child that she is. So, right there, we also got another special announcement that'll be coming your way shortly. We're just finishing putting on the details, so look forward to that as we make that big announcement. That will be happening sometime in July. Like I said, we're just finishing up all the details and everything. So wait for that big announcement. That's going to be awesome. So right now, I don't want to wait any further because I have been watching our next guest for quite a while now. Ever since we were over on the Get Haunted program, she's been popping up and then following her on Facebook, watching what she's doing. And I'll tell you, she is definitely one of those that is up and coming and doing her thing, and she's doing it pretty well. Just tell you a little bit about her. She's a paranormal investigator. She is going to school right now, currently, to get her degree in video editing so that she can work even further. She's put together some videos, some music videos. We're going to talk about that all in just a few minutes. But right now, folks, I want you to welcome tonight's guests all the way from North Carolina. We have Sam from Sam's Pretty Paranormal. Sam, how you doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
I'll tell you, it has been it's been such a beautiful day, and of course, to top it off, get here to chat with you. That's exciting to me. So I want to thank you very much for joining us here on the Paranormal Voice.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
So we haven't officially met in person yet, but I mean we kind of know a lot about each other through the Get Haunted Network. I see you pop on all the time, and now like every time I turn on Facebook, you are such the graphic artist. I mean,
Oh,
I
thank you.
love your logos that you create. You just create this stuff, you put it out there, and like I said, they're so amazing, and you're
Oh,
so
thank you.
talented. So I mean, that's
Oh,
amazing. So
yeah,
I
thank you.
we're gonna talk. So let's just jump right into the brass tacks of things. What got you into the paranormal?
Oh, okay. Well, when so I've always loved all of the paranormal movies. Me and my dad would watch them when I was little. We would watch horror movies together, and um, so I've always was always into it. But I had an experience when I was 8 years old. Me and my mom, we lived in an apartment, and I noticed when we moved in, everything was just like freshly painted. It was new carpet. I mean, it was good at first, but sometime into it, I just didn't feel comfortable there. It was just kind of like a little bit of an off feeling. And one night I woke up, and in front of my closet, I seen like this, it was just a perfect outline, and I could tell it was of an older lady, and it just scared me to death. And so I had jumped up and I ran to my mom's room, and I was like, there's somebody in my room, and she was like, oh, you're just she's like, you're just dreaming. I was like, no, I don't think so. And then later on I got curious, and we had a neighbor, and I asked the neighbor who lived there before us, and she said it was an older woman that lived there, but she had died. I don't know if she had a heart attack or whatnot, but she was in there for like 3 days before her daughter had found her. So I was like,
Wow,
yeah. So that's what got me started, like really started into finding out what it's about.
wow, that's so. I mean, so to move into a place, I mean, I guess a lady pass away naturally is better than finding out there was a murder in your house.
Oh, I
So
know, I
I
know.
mean that. Yeah, I guess that would throw me off too. Being able to move into someplace knowing somebody died there. I mean, that's always been like I don't know if it would be creepy, but I know back in the day, uh, during mostly probably prior to the 1960s, a lot of funerals took place in homes. Like there was no
Yeah.
such thing as funeral homes. They were just places. So they would bring the coffin into the house, and they would have everybody would just gather in the house, and the body would be there. I'm so happy nowadays that funeral homes do exist, because I don't know if I would be able to sleep well enough. I know it's a loved one, but at the same time, it's like there's a dead person in the house and sitting in the living room, like.
I know. Oh my gosh, I know.
But that's it. But so that was your. How old were you when that experience happened?
I was 8.
Oh, so
Mhm.
roughly the same time as when I started having my very first paranormal experiences. So that is
Yeah,
quite young.
yeah.
So today, your parents knowing what you're doing, working into the paranormal and doing all that stuff, how do they look at it with you doing all of this?
Um, well, my mom, she doesn't like anything to do with like horror, ghost, paranormal. Like she won't have anything to do with it. So she is like, please stop dabbling in this. She doesn't want me to do it. And my dad, he's like more like me. Me and him both have just always been very curious about how all that works. I mean, we've had
Right.
long conversations just
Yeah.
trying to figure out. And he's like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I mean, it's great that you have somebody that has common interests, and that's
yeah,
always the plus thing. Having somebody that has similar interests. Now, has he ever gone on an investigation with you?
no, no.
No.
Well, I wouldn't consider this like a legit investigation, but we went to a cemetery where that whole Charlie Lawson thing. It's a big story locally here.
Okay.
He killed his whole family, and so they're buried there.
Oh, okay.
And we went there to check it out because a lady had took a picture there, and she had caught like the apparition of a demon, like kind of like leaned up against a tree. It was it, or we assume
Wow.
it's a demon. I don't know. I
Right.
don't know. We assume it's because it had like almost like horns. It was black. It
Right.
was insane. So we went and I pulled out the spirit. I had like a spirit
Yeah.
talk app, or I think it was Ghost Radar or something. But we pulled it out, and I got a few words on there, and I was like, that's it was kind of related. And he was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. I was like, yeah, but that's really the only thing he's actually done with me that's kind of semi.
Well, I mean, that's an experience in itself. I mean, I know a lot of people love to go to graveyards, and I mean, what is your theory on graveyards? Do you believe that they're actually haunted, or do you think that it's just a place where somebody might go to visit their former shell, I guess, as you could, because really you're not in your body anymore, and
Yeah.
so
Um, I've never thought about. I don't think. I mean, I when I go to cemeteries, I don't never. It's always like a peaceful feeling. So
right,
I think maybe that maybe they just like you said they're visiting their self or their place.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't. I know there's a cemetery close to me that I was going to right frequently, and then things started going pretty south for me.
okay,
So I quit going there. So I don't know what that was about, but I know there was something there that was trying to get my attention. Now my great grandpa is buried there, so that's an
right,
idea I had. Maybe he was, but then I started getting some scratches and stuff, and I was like, I don't know if that's him or not. So
yeah,
so so I took my kids. I hadn't been long had my third baby, and I took them up there to kind of do like a mini investigation. And I got on my spirit app, I got the name David, and I was like, wow, there's David. So I said, look for tombstones that have David, and they were like,
right,
okay. So they were wandering around looking, but I did not have to go far because I literally looked to the right and
yeah.
down, and there was David, and
Oh,
I was like,
wow,
oh, yeah. So I don't know if I made a connection with him or not, but I, I mean, they can be active, but
yeah.
I think they're just more peaceful.
And truth be told, yeah, I mean, anytime that I've ever gone through graveyards and stuff like that, that's usually the place I go when I get a new toy. I have to try it out. I go to a graveyard
Mhm.
because I mean, you're bound to pick up some kind of EVP or uh, something. So it's generally, and they're the easiest place to get into. You don't have to pay nothing to get into them,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a pretty amazing place, and I've never had. Well, I can't say that. I've only had one time I can remember where I was actually scared to go into a graveyard, And this was so right here in Windsor, we have a place in Sandwich Town. It's called Mackenzie Hall. It's a very active place. It was a courthouse back in the day in the 50s and or actually the 40s to I think they closed it down. I want to say in the 80s, but it was an active courthouse and they actually used to do hangings there. So
Oh,
back in the day, back into the 30s and 40s, back then it was like swift justice back then. It's like you got convicted in the morning and they executed you in the afternoon. So
yeah.
there's
Oh,
one
yeah.
angry soul. So the last person that was actually executed there was wrongfully executed as they found out after. But yeah, he was accused of killing some police officers, and so they hung him in the afternoon. Well, they found out from what the stories say that they found out like months later that he didn't do it. Well, too late now. It's like, oops, sorry.
Oh
So
my
he actually
gosh.
roams the hall of Mackenzie Hall, and he's quite angry. And I said, well, I'd be a little angry too if I got punished for doing something I didn't do, and on top of that, they took my life for not doing it. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but there's a graveyard across the street from this, and actually, when they used to hang the prisoners, that's where they used to bury them is across the street. So I remember one time we were doing an investigation there, and we're all, "Hey, let's go across the street to the graveyard. This will be fun." Yeah, let's go. Something when I got to the gates, something just told me I better not go in there, and it was a really, really negative energy.
Oh,
And so I don't try to tempt things, so I'm just like, "No, I'm good," because I can see, like, shadows jumping from headstone to headstone, and I was just like,
oh my goodness, no.
"Something's just telling me not to go in there," and so I
Yeah,
kinda I just backed off, and I was like, "You guys can go in, I'll just wait out here," because, like I said, I'm all about the experience, but at the same time, I'm just one that is not willing to push the boundaries with something that I don't see. And if, like they say, if something doesn't feel right, don't do it. And this was
yeah,
just one of those incidents where I didn't feel right about going in there. So I just let the other people go in there. But that was the only
yeah,
time I was ever afraid to go to a graveyard because normally it's like go in, it's all a positive experience because, like I
yeah,
said, I believe graveyards are not haunted by deaths. I mean, there's probably people that died within the graveyard grounds, but at the most, it's the resting grounds for where they're going to
yeah,
put us after we go. So, like I
yeah,
said, I always believe that it's just somebody. If you pick up an energy or a spirit, it's because they are coming back to visit themselves or
yeah,
gives them a place to go. But so
yeah,
that's what I believe graveyards are, and yeah, they can be a lot of fun. I like I said, they're
yeah.
so what would and we like to ask this of a lot. In your mind to date, like what would have been your creepiest, freakiest experience that you've had so far into the paranormal?
Well, that's a interesting well, I'll say there's several. Um, well, okay. So there is a place that I like to visit frequently because the owner, he's just so welcoming to me, and we've kind of become friends. And his store is Madison Dry Goods, and it was a funeral home prior to being what it is now.
Okay.
And, yeah, so it still has the elevator, where they would pull up the bodies back in the day to
Ooh.
go to the yeah, yeah, it's crazy. So, and there's been so many people that's passed through there, of course, getting prepared to be buried and stuff. So it's pretty active. And then on top of that, he added an antique one of the floors has antique mall like store, like
Oh,
different booths, and so that
ooh.
just I feel like that fuels it a lot. So
Yes. Yeah.
the last time I was there, there was I was with a friend, and we were picking up on something that was in, like, a back room. We just kept getting drawn to that room, and, the lights, Imma kid you not, I was trying to tell him the ghosts that are frequently seen there, which is it's a child, and I was just trying to explain to him, who the child might be, and then the lights just started going just on and off, and I was like, "No way, how did that happen?" And we looked on the wall, and the light switch was actually behind a plastic, like only the owners of the store can unlock it, turn the lights off.
Right.
So we were like, that was kind of insane. um, but yeah, that was really a big experience for me. But other than that, I mean, I've had things in my house um get thrown. Like I had a antique jar on top of my sink. I got like a shelf, and I had it full of water with red dye, and yeah, it got thrown into the floor in the middle of the night.
Oh boy,
And
that's
I
not
was
a way you
like,
want to
okay.
wake up.
No, it's not. But the house we live in, my grandpa lived here, and he passed away in the house too. So I was like, well, maybe he was just like aggravated with me or something. So I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, it could be trying to get your attention. He's like, "What could I
Yeah.
do to get her attention?" Oh, she likes
Yeah.
that vase up there, so let's start with that.
Yes. I know. I really did like that vase, but I had to throw it
uh,
away.
oh well,
Yeah.
that is sad, but sometimes when they try to communicate with you, Um, it's when you're not picking up the well, what I call the normal signs, which is smells, dreams, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They go to more extreme ways of getting your attention, or if it's just something they have to say right then and now. So,
Yeah.
would you say that you have any gifts towards the paranormal?
Oh, well, I've been trying to kind of tap in to see what I might have. I know that a while back, when I first found Get Haunted, Rob was actually at White Hill, and he was in a closet with those dolls, and I was like, I kept getting the name Carrie in my head. I was like, Carrie, so I just threw that at him. I was like, ask if one of the dolls, like, if its name's Carrie. Well, he went back on EVP, and he heard Carrie come on the EVP. So I was like, wow. So then that kind of jump started me. I was like, okay, maybe there's something.
Right,
And
right.
so because my great grandma on my dad's side, she actually could predict that someone was going to pass away, and she had a vision. She was standing at her window, and she had a vision. There was like a fireball coming out of the sky, and it hit my uncle's trailer. So he lived across the road from her, but it hit his trailer in this vision, and she's like, I don't know what that was about. And then it was like 2 weeks later, he had a very severe aneurysm that just paralyzed him for the rest of his life. And so she was
Wow.
just thinking maybe that was some kind of relation there. But she definitely had some things. So I was like, maybe I got passed down some things. So I've been working with my dreams a lot too.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dream interpretations. I mean, we all know Dee Dee very well, and her dream
Yeah.
interpretations. It's like, I mean, usually every morning when I wake up, the first 30 minutes of my day is just analyzing whatever I dreamed about, because I know dreams can bring a lot of messages, and
Mhm.
it's always like I've always find it fascinating because I have to Google everything because I know like a lot of things have multiple interpretations, but
Yeah.
I usually look through it and I try to read it like at least three or four of them just to say maybe one will resonate more than another, and it'll make sense somewhere down the
Mhm.
line. So, yeah, somewhere in your grandmother's dream with that fireball was saying like
Yeah.
something big was about to happen, and that's how
Yeah.
I would look at that, saying, well, something like that crashing into something and making it explode, that's a big deal. So yeah, that's a sign something big is coming along. So that's
Yeah.
amazing that you're opening yourself up to seeing
Yeah.
what your gifts could be, because I mean they come in all different ways. And I find like a lot of people that as they get older or certain experiences happen to them, that things start making sense, as of like why they're able to perceive stuff the way they are, or hear
Yeah.
things without the aid of a device, or start seeing things for like shadow people and stuff. I know as kids
Yeah.
we can see all that because our minds are not quite controlled like they are as we are adults, because as of adults we were told what to believe, what is real,
Mhm.
what is not real, what is, so we
Yeah.
kind of get corrupted in those ways, where children, they're not corrupted, they're still got those nice innocent minds. So like
Yeah.
they, when they say they have an imaginary friend, it's like chances are they are playing with a ghost. And I do get those phone calls. It's like, my grandchild was over here and I walked in the room, they were talking to absolutely nobody, but they said it was their friend Ricky. What do I do? I'm like, do nothing.
Yeah.
Ricky is really harmless. Ricky is probably another
Yeah.
child ghost who just
Yeah.
happens to see your grandson and thought, oh, here's somebody my age I can play with. So they see them, but you don't. And they're like, why
Yeah.
can't I see them? Well, it's because it's how you're perceiving the whole incident. Like if you're open to the paranormal, maybe you would, but if you're not,
Yeah.
and it's your first experience with the paranormal, then chances are you're still closed minded and you're going, I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
That's,
Well,
that's
it's funny you mentioned the imaginary friend because I had one and, it was an intense relationship. I don't know what you would call it, but, she just, come up one day, and my mom noticed I was talking with something and playing, and, my mom was like, "Who are you talking to?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Chastity." And she was like, "Chastity," and she's like, "Okay." And she would have to set a place at the dinner table for Chastity, and then Chastity would have to get Christmas. She'd have to get a gift if I got one. It was really intense. I know my brother, we was all sitting at the dinner table and he sat down where I had wanted her to be and I just lost it.
oh,
Totally lost it.
yeah.
And I was like, "He sat on So my mom was like, she was supportive of it. She
Yeah,
didn't understand. She was like,
right.
"This is crazy," but she was supportive. And then one day when I had gotten a little bit, I think that started when I was like 5, and I would say like 7, 6 or 7, it started kind of going away. And she asked me, she's like, "What happened to Chastity?" And I said, "Well, she got hit by a car, and I don't know where she went." So that's what I told
Wow.
her. Yeah, yeah,
So you kind of had a little backstory from Chastity. So
yeah.
that is amazing. You have a you got a backstory of who she was. And did you ever wonder why nobody else saw her and only you?
No, I don't think I think I just had so much fun playing
Yeah.
alongside her. I don't know, I didn't really think about it,
I mean,
but
and that's awesome. And but that's the first time I ever heard of somebody who had an imaginary friend and actually knew what happened to them. So I mean, that's
it
that's
was
awesome. I mean, to me, that's awesome because you hear about it, and yeah, then the friend
Yeah,
just goes away. And
yeah,
and then you never know, like, as a child, it's like, well, they're here, why are they not coming back? And I mean, that's got to be puzzling to a child, but at the same
yeah.
time, to know that that's how she died, was being hit by a car.
Yes,
So
because
that must have happened right where, like, around where you were.
maybe it did, because usually, I mean, I've heard, if a kid does have, like, an imaginary friend, I mean, it fades and it's not, like, a big deal, but to
Right,
be so specific in
right,
how she left and how she just
yeah,
quit
yeah.
coming, around, yeah, kinda strange.
But, I mean, that's awesome at the same time, but
Yeah,
wow,
yeah,
well, like, that is an amazing experience for sure. So,
yeah,
I just wanna shift our talk a little bit. So you
okay,
are the creator of Sam's Pretty Productions, where you
yeah,
create short films, music videos, and this is
yeah,
also where you get do your logos as well. So
yeah.
let's talk about what is the interest in, like, doing films and videos and stuff like that. Like, how did you get onto that path?
Well, when I was younger, so I would say 12, 13, my mom she had a video cam recorder, and it's so funny, because I would, make videos almost like vlogging, and I didn't even realize that's what that was at the time, but it was almost like, I was just like, and I would just film different things, and, so that's kinda where the interest started, was just filming, and then, later on, as I got older, I kinda come away from it, but then, 2019, I was like, "I want to go back and pick the filming up, I wanna do this,"
Right.
and, so I got into school, and ever since, it's just such a it's I've just got a love and a passion for it, it's just filming something, different videos, and then just putting them together and editing and just watching it become a whole. So
Right.
it's fun. Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the projects that you've done. Is there anything out there, like, we could go, like, on YouTube or somewhere and see something that you've done?
Yeah, actually, one of my most favorite, short films that I did create is called Fight in Darkness, and it's over there on my channel, and, that story is one that I really want to pursue in making it bigger, because there's a lot of backstory, to this story. I would actually like to write a book if I could about it. But yeah, you could check that out. And I've got a few short films over there I made for school, but the Fight in Darkness would be my favorite.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
just give us, what is the story about?
So, um, so it's the main character of the story is Ariadne. So her mother Gia, she had gotten pregnant at an early age, and she went to a witch because she was needing help to, you know, get rid of the baby. She wasn't ready for it. So the witch, was wanting something in return for a potion that would fix the problem.
Right.
She wanted a stone. It's a really important stone. It has a lot of power to it from the tree of Bow, and so Gia uh, did not get the stone. She decided to keep the baby because, it's a fantasy almost too, but a fairy had came and told her not to do it. The witch had bad intentions, and, so she didn't get it, and then the witch put a curse on her baby, which is Ariadne, and, once she turned 18, that's when she started having, like, almost mental battles. So it wasn't like a physical battle, but it was inside of her mind. So she blacks out, she goes in a black place, and it's like an entity that she cannot see, but it's extremely scary. And it's just the witch from a long distance just doing stuff to torture her. So she's got to figure out how to break the curse. So
That
it's a lot to it. It's a lot. It's a lot.
but, and that is the basis of a really cool story. And I mean, that story could have, people that do get pregnant young and the battles they go through when they're not ready to become a mother and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, that's awesome though. But you're living,
Yeah,
you're out there, you're doing your passion,
yeah,
and I mean, you're really, I mean, that's really amazing how you're doing one, and then everything that you do with the paranormal and into filmmaking. I mean, that's awesome. You get to live basically two passions, which
yeah,
I mean, I'm always the one person that says, you know what, just get out there and whatever you're passionate about, do it because then it will never feel like work. It will always feel like whatever
yeah,
you're doing, you won't feel like you work a 40-hour a week. Yeah, you get tired. You just want to come home. You're not motivated. But when you're doing something you're very passionate about, just like me and Michael John, we're very passionate about doing the show. We're very passionate about getting out there, meeting people, and talking to people. And
yeah,
just being able to talk about the paranormal 24/7 was something I wish I could do.
yeah.
Like I said, you're living your passion, and I'm so happy for you. Uh,
Yeah.
hey, Richie, what's going on, brother? Richie over there saying, "Look, look at this. Two of my faves."
Hey, Richie. Yeah.
I was just,
I
I
love
was just,
Richie.
I was just over there bugging Richie on his show. He was doing a live before we got on, so I was
Oh,
over
okay.
there. So it's
Yeah.
good to see you, Richie. Thanks for coming, stopping by. Uh,
Yeah.
but so music videos. You've created
Mhm.
music videos now. Is this
Yeah.
for some local artists in your area, or
No, I've thought of that. I've actually thought of that. If like that I could help some local artists like produce a music video for what they're creating. But the two that I have put out was actually me. I filmed myself, which was awkward, but I filmed myself and it was with two really well-known songs. So you got
okay?
Blake Shelton and then you got Morgan Wallen. So I did 2 songs with that. Oh god. Yeah. I got Richie's so funny, man.
Oh, I love
Um,
that. I love that guy. Yeah, it's
I
I
know I like
we were talking on the phone the other day, and like I said, he is so filled with energy. I'm like, wow. It's like I
mhm.
just want to bottle up his energy and sell it because I think I'd
Oh,
become a
I know.
millionaire. But
I know,
I
he's
love his approach. I love everything
yeah.
he's doing in the paranormal. We had a
Oh,
long
yeah.
conversation, and actually, I'm going to be over on his show on July 20th.
Oh,
I'm
that's
going
awesome.
to be over on the Richie B show, so I'm looking forward to that. Sitting down with Richie B,
Oh, yeah.
gets
It's a
talking
good
about
time.
my time warp of experiences and everything I've been through in the paranormal field. But so sorry,
Yeah.
getting back to you. So
Oh,
yours was just so just filming yourself
yeah. I
doing
was
something.
just dabbling in it. Yeah.
But hey, hey, look, that's how a lot of people get caught out there. They're covering other people's songs, and next thing you
Yeah.
know, that's how I said. You never know who's watching your paranormal channel, your YouTube channel,
Yeah.
your Facebook channel, because
Yeah.
like I said, a lot of people get recognized from their work on doing a YouTube channel or just out there,
Yeah.
throwing their songs wherever they can. I know
Yeah.
for me coming through the music industry, I worked with one really well, he's famous here in Canada, not does have a huge fan base in the United States. He's been known worldwide. It was a band called the Never Ending White Lights. Uh,
Oh, okay.
they were a two-time Juno nominated. Junos is the Canadians' versions of the American Music Awards.
Oh, okay.
So, they
Yeah.
were they were nominated twice for that. Uh, but like I said, it was very interesting to work with a band that had a really famous background, and then I was working with a lot of independent bands. Uh, you know, I used to always tell people I worked with musicians before they became assholes because after they sign a big contract, they become assholes. But
Oh, yeah.
but and it's like it was nice to see like them coming up and growing and making
Yeah,
something out of it, and just how passionate it is uh, working in the music industry. Like music is my second love, my
yeah,
passion. Like paranormal will always be my top passion, something that I'll always want to do. And if I
yeah,
could working with bands, like I said, it was fun. I appreciate the time. It gave me a lot of experience, and especially being able to be at events now and speaking and talking and being presented. It really helps you to understand, like you know, how to draw people in and get people to interest in what your product is.
yeah, yeah. And I like with Blake Shelton's and, Morgan Wallen's song, so I aw, thank you. She he said um, I love listening to, like, the songs, and I listen to them several times, and
Right,
then I just enjoy just envisioning, like, what I see coming from that song, like, as far as, like, video goes.
right,
And, I mean, Blake Shelton's I mean, he's got one, but I wanted to create something else, and I went, a different direction, similar but different. And then with Morgan Wallen's, I went different, and,
right.
it's really fun. It's really fun to do that. I would love to work with locals and, like, just create a visual for their music. That would be really fun. So,
Absolutely, and and independent bands. I mean, they're just growing into the industry, and it's hard for them. So if they had
yeah.
somebody out there that would be willing to shoot a video for them, because videos can be expensive, especially if you want to go through the traditional markets of hiring a professional video company.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
it can get quite expensive, but at the same time, at an independent level, I mean, it would help both you grow and them grow at the same time because you're
Yeah.
kind of promoting each other a little bit back and forth
Yeah.
because, oh, this is a video she did. Oh, that's pretty cool. Then you grow, and it's like their music gets out there, and then they'll always remember the video that you produced for them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's always amazing working with other people, networking, like helping bring each other up, and
Yeah.
that's always been our goal and my plan is to, you know, like I'm very appreciative of Rob and Sarah over there and Get Haunted. They really helped us out a lot to get our foot in the door and start skyrocketing, and that just led to more opportunities, which now we're
Yeah.
very grateful to be on KGRA digital media. So
Yeah.
it's amazing just where growth goes, and you never forget those people that help you get up there because you always reach back and give them a helping hand and always be a part of whatever they're doing as well. So it's
Yeah.
amazing watching people, and even our good buddy Richie B over there, like watching him grow over the last year. I mean, it's like wow, it's like
Yes.
it's so amazing where he's going with his show and all these other podcasts that are out there.
Yeah.
It's so amazing, and I love all the content that's out there. I now find
Yeah.
myself just sitting there night after night instead of watching just a regular TV. I'm mostly stuck on YouTube watching everybody I know and their shows and producing,
Yeah.
and stuff like that because you really
Mhm.
get to appreciate what everybody's doing. So
Me
I
too.
just want to. So we usually ask our guests their little thoughts, and I want to get your thought on the cryptid world. Do you believe in
Oh,
cryptids? Do you have a
yeah.
favorite cryptid?
Oh, yes, I do. I believe in them, and my favorite is Bigfoot, so Richie can, clap. I Bigfoot is my absolute favorite. Absolute. And I've been learning a lot just with Richie, with his show and the conversations. I've been learning a lot, and, my cousin actually is 100% sure that he witnessed two of them.
Wow.
He's been an avid hunter since he was like 16. He's been hunting his whole life. He's
Wow.
42 now. And it was a couple of years ago. Yeah, he was on my grandmother's property. He was setting up his tree thing or base. And anyways, he saw uh two, like he said they were huge, like 6, 7 foot tall. It was like he can't he got so scared he left everything. Like he got out of dodge because he couldn't explain he couldn't explain what it was. Like he was just
Wow.
like what is that? I've never seen anything like that. And
Right.
I asked him, I was like, "Well, I mean, could you have seen a bear?" Like, he was like, "No, that was not a bear." He said they were upright, they were walking like us. He said it was just a bunch of hair all over 'em. So, yeah, it's insane. Thank you, Richie.
um,
So,
and yeah, I mean, to have any type of Bigfoot experience, I know my co-host Michael John. I mean, he's just itching to get out there one day to go into the woods with somebody who's really experienced, Richie B.
Richie
Uh,
B.
uh, to just get out there and see what it's like to be in the woods and to investigate. I'm still on the fence about that. I think I would, if it's a Bigfoot hunt, absolutely. I mean, Michael John's guilty pleasure is Dogman, and I've heard nothing but bad things about Dogman. And it's not to knock Dogman if you're listening. I'm sorry, you're a great guy. I'm sure you are. But at the same time, it's just like I think with a Bigfoot, I think they're, to me, and I would say they're probably not naturally a violent creature. If you kind of leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. Where
Mhm.
Dogman, you just hear the stories that all Dogman wants to do is kill everything.
Oh my god.
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
but that, but Bigfoot hunting, yeah, I would say I would want to at least do that kind of
yes,
experience once in my life to go to the woods to see what I would be able to pick up and to hear and to see, because I love the shows. Expedition Bigfoot's one of my favorite. Ronnie
yeah,
LeBlanc is a good friend of mine. He's an amazing. Like I said, I love watching those shows. And I'm thinking, wow, that'd
yeah.
be so cool. And it's like I watch the episodes and then I'll talk about it, and it's like really really cool and just what they're capturing out there. And it's just like I don't know if I'd be afraid or if I'd be like in astonishment of what is happening around me and just how good they are at cloaking themselves so they could be right in front of you, would never know it.
Oh my gosh, I know. I mean, I've been learning that with, Richie. They've got a lot of, powers. I don't know what you would call it, but they got a lot of different things they can do. Yes, I did. I heard it, and it was not a dog. I'm just gonna tell you that was not a dog.
That was no dog.
That was no
Uh,
dog, and we saw a footprint, so
and that's, yeah, that's like I said, the whole Bigfoot phenomenon is really interesting. I like a lot of cryptids. My guilty pleasure of the cryptids is Mothman. I don't know
yes.
why. I think it's because I like Batman, and I just think Mothman is just a creature version of Batman. So
Right.
I just always I've I've watched all the movies. I read a lot of the books, and
Yeah,
my dream is to one day to actually get to Point Pleasant, West Virginia during the Mothman Festival, because I would just
yeah.
love to take that all in. And
Mhm.
but yeah, it's that's my guilty pleasure is the Mothman. So, but
Yeah.
Bigfoot is definitely another one that, yeah, no, because I mean, let's see, it was what, 1972 when the first Bigfoot film came out. So
I believe
I was
so.
1 years old, so
Mm,
I've always heard about Bigfoot. So it's one of
yeah.
those amazing things. So I want to get your take on aliens. What is
Oh,
your thoughts about aliens or galactics?
Well, so so there's been a thing. I know Rob and Sarah mentioned it. It was like where the aliens are like disguised. They're walking among us.
Right.
And I made a joke. I was like, I just know Elon Musk is he's got to be something. I don't know, but yeah, I believe there's something beyond
Right.
that has a advanced intelligence. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been happening with the aliens lately. Um, my mom did. She doesn't live too far in Vegas where where that family had seen
Oh
the
wow.
alien in the backyard. Yeah, she don't live far from that. And I so when we were out there, I tried to go down I tried to go down the road, and I was like, oh, I just want to see, where. But yeah,
So where you're at up in North Carolina, do you get a lot of UFO sightings and Bigfoot sightings?
um, Bigfoot. I it's really well known because I mean there's stores around here that sell like Bigfoot merchandise, and a lot of people talk about Bigfoot right much around here. Um, but like the aliens, now I haven't talked to many people around here that has seen anything, but I know on the way back home from an event me and my husband went to, we were coming down the highway. It was an open sky, and I was like, I seen something. It looked like a moon. It looked like the moon, but I was like, that's not the moon because I looked to over there that and to this side, and the actual moon was on this side, and I was like, well, what is that? And as soon as I started tapping, I was like, what do you think that is? It just kind of I don't even know how to describe it. It just faded into the sky, like, almost like it went
Right.
in the sky. I don't know how to describe it. Just went away.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
like it was really weird. Now, I don't know if that was anything related to alien, but it was weird. It was real. I've never seen
Right.
anything like that, and it
Yeah,
wasn't a
because
plane.
it doesn't sound like something that would be easily explained. Like if it was a plane, you could continuously see it until it just
Mhm.
got too far out of your vision where it would just fade away. But if
Yeah.
this just disappears all of a sudden, it's like, wow,
Y
that's crazy behavior because planes just can't shut off their lights when they're in the sky. So you
no.
could kind of rule that
No.
out. But yeah, at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, was it? I mean, I know
Yeah.
myself too. It's like I find myself a lot more often nowadays when I'm out probably I do it probably a lot more than I realize, but I'll be out driving and I'll just have a habit of staring up in the sky and seeing if I can
Mhm.
see something that does not look normal up there. And
Yeah.
talking to people like Andrea Perrin and the Debit RJs who are very experienced in the UFO world. Um, just listen to their experiences and some of the crafts that they've seen and some of their experiences.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, you see something weird in the sky or it does something funny, and you're just like, well, could it be? I don't know, because you really can't make it out because it's so far away. It looks
Yeah.
tiny. Unless, I mean, you
Yeah.
hear the stories where, oh, I saw a UFO and it was hovering probably about 50 feet off the ground. I'd be like, that would be unmistakable. But
I
but
know.
when it's still like
Yeah.
10,000 feet up in the air, you're like, what is that? But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
but it's amazing, and that's the one thing we always ask people about is like their UFO experiences or Bigfoot experiences. Because do you believe UFOs and Bigfoots are working together?
I mean, they could be. It's always a possibility. They could be.
Right,
Um, I've I I would just be like Richie on his show. We've been talking about theories about what Bigfoot is,
right.
and I agree with a lot of his of what he thinks. Um, but I think there could be some kind of extraterrestrial like situation there between.
Absolutely, like there's really are no right or wrong answers because one,
No.
nobody knows for sure besides Bigfoot and aliens. That
No.
that's the only two
I
that really know the
know.
truth of what's really going
Yeah,
on. But at
yeah,
the same time, like I truly believe, and this is like talking to people like Richie and Ronnie LeBlanc and a lot of other Bigfoot. We've had a guy on a show by the name of Mike Patterson, who in Canada is probably one of the most famous Bigfoot hunters we've had. He's got a
yeah,
huge following. It just, I truly believe that Bigfoot is an interdimensional creature who,
yeah.
because they're able to pop in and out without leaving a trace.
I know.
So it's like, how can something just, especially when you really think about it, a Bigfoot is the smallest is what, 9 feet to up to
Mhm.
14 feet tall. How can
Yeah,
something that big disappear into thin air? Like it's to
crazy.
me that's got to be virtually impossible because if that's the case, I hope one day humans can figure out that.
Oh,
But
I know.
at the same time, it's like, so this is the theory is because we hear a lot of it too. Is like you see a Bigfoot, and chances are you might have an alien experience, or you see
Mhm.
a UFO, and then all of a sudden you hear about a Bigfoot sighting. So
Mhm.
it's definitely something that I love hearing about. I love reading about, and I hope that one day that we'll find some more answers. But
Yeah,
that
for
that is
sure.
definitely a rabbit hole that I love talking about for sure. So we
Yeah.
are getting down. We've got about just about 3 minutes left. This hour just went by really, really fast. This
Yes,
is
it
absolutely
did.
amazing. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. So I want to give you this opportunity right now. If anybody would like to reach out to you, they've got an idea or they need a logo, they want a video shot, whatever it is. What would be the best way of them getting a hold of you?
On Facebook, Sam's Pretty Paranormal, that's where I do all of my, interactions with logos and all that stuff. So, yeah, you can find me there if you would like to reach out and message me.
There you go, folks. So if you're a brand new company and you're looking for a logo for your company, Sam does amazing work. And hey, even if you want to shoot a TV commercial, reach out to her. She can help you
Yeah,
do a TV commercial for your company as well. So, Sam, I
yeah,
just want to thank you so much for joining us here on the TPV Nation. It's been great to
yeah,
get to know you. So, everybody, go over on our social medias, over on Facebook, over to her YouTube channel, follow her, watch what she's doing. And, Sam, we
yeah.
look forward to catching up with you down in the future. So, thank you so
Okay, thank
much.
you. Thank
Uh,
you.
and I'd like to thank everybody who was watching the show today, right now, or watching the replay a little bit later on. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us here on the TPV Nation. We could not do what we do if it wasn't for all the amazing people out there who show us love and support, and having great guests like Sam from Sam's Pretty
Oh,
Paranormal. Like I said, it is an absolute blessing getting to know everybody in the paranormal. Also, like to thank you once again to our sponsor, Ghost Hunts at the Western Block, right there in Lockport, New York. You can see their website. It is in the description in the link below. And also, don't forget the QR code on the side. Please help out Dan Class and his family, and of course, help his beautiful daughter Shaylee get the treatment that she needs to help her get over this battle with cancer. So, right now, folks, that's going to do it for us on the TPV Nation. Stay tuned. Our next show is stay on our Facebook and on our YouTube page to catch our new latest and exciting updates. What's going on? Stay tuned. We have a big announcement coming very, very shortly. And you can catch us on KGRA Digital Media every Saturday night at 1 a.m. A brand new episode drops. So, in the meantime and in between, like we like to say here, folks, happy hauntings.